This is DJ.
And this is Ish.
And this is
Season 6 of
Pero Let Me Tell You. Yeah, as soon as I get home, I take off my clothes from work. If you ever see me, like it's 7 o'clock, 7:30, and I'm still in my work clothes, I'm like, I'm done.
So if it's 7 o'clock on the swatch, you're in your work clothes, you're not cruising the street?
Nope. And I'm certainly not in my drop top.
Okay.
And there's nobody waiting for me either.
No. Actually, the contrary. They might be waiting for you to do homework, to do...
Yeah. Or what's waiting for me is Club Gama with DJ Sabana.
Exactly.
Well, on that note, everybody, welcome to episode 267.
You can do this. Yes, sir.
Coño,
that's why I was like, I know you can.
Me la comí. 267.
Yes, which, as we all know, although people now are saying she ate it, we were saying it first.
Mm-hmm. That is so true.
I've been saying this for weeks now.
Because that's the thing now. Oh, yeah, she ate it.
Yeah. She ate it and digested it and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, hi, welcome to being Hispanic. We've been saying that, or at least Cuban. Te la comiste forever.
Yeah. Beyonce ate it. She ate it. It's like...
Yeah, well, Celia Cruz was eating it first.
Yeah, Celia Cruz estaba comiendo since like the 50s.
Right.
En la Sonora Matancera.
Exactly.
You know what? I had never stopped to think about it that way.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
She ate it. Se la
comió.
We were one step ahead.
Yes. Well, you know, us Latin trendsetters.
No, you know. Yeah. So, no. Yeah, I'm definitely one of these people that, like, as soon as I get home, like, the keys are still in my hand, I'm already, like, taking my clothes off and changing.
Really? That, like...
Oh, yeah. I'm that person. But... Como te dije, if like you got like today when you got to my house, do you think that I was like doing 100 things?
You seemed like tired. I feel like I even asked you, like, were you taking a nap?
No, I wasn't. I was like doing 100 things, and I was still in my work clothes, and it was like close to 8 o'clock. Yeah. No, I had a long day.
It was a very long day.
Because I do one of these at like when I get home from the office, that like when I'm changing, I do one of these at like. I'll get in bed for like, I'll lie on my bed for like 5 minutes and be like, okay. Like,
I can't do that because if I fall asleep, that's it.
No, it's not to fall asleep.
But I will fall asleep. That's
no. It's sort of to like...
acostarme, it's because I'm going to fall asleep.
Yeah. So you know what it is? It's that, I don't know. We don't take siesta.
Naps are very important.
Listen, I didn't know how important naps were until the first time I went to Spain. Because you
had to go to the mother country?
No, because everybody says, "Oh, la siesta."
Right.
Dude, in Spain, la siesta is like a religion. Yeah. Like literally, the city does stop at 2 o'clock. From 2 to 4,
you're not doing anything.
You're not doing anything. They really do. I mean, they're open until like 10, but
Right, I was gonna say, but then la fiesta, la pachanga hasta las 3 de la mañana.
No, and it's funny because they go to siesta and they have like ellos meriendan, la merienda.
I miss merienda.
Yeah, la merienda, and then they take a nap, and I'm like, no, I'll just go take a nap. You take one of those naps out when you wake up, you're disoriented, and you're like, where am I? What time and space is it?
That happens to me when I take a nap in my bed. If I take a nap on the couch, I think it's because the couch of it all makes me realize, okay, this was temporary.
Yeah.
But in the bed, it changes everything.
About, I would say, I don't know, it was a couple of months ago. It was a couple of months ago because... No, it was more than a few months ago because Tristan was still in the other school year.
Oh, okay.
So it was before school ended in June. So probably, I don't know, sometime earlier this year. I had left the office early and I had gone to pick up Tristan at school. Mm-hmm. And most of the time on Fridays, I take him to my parents' house or they pick him up and all that. But my parents are involved with his Fridays, Friday afternoons. And I took him to my parents' house. And I went to my room because, as many of I've said it here before, my room at my parents' house is pretty much intact.
Yes and no.
Yeah, like there's Tristan in it already.
Right.
His toys that he doesn't play with anymore and all that. But the main essence, like my posters are still on the wall.
Essence of Darien.
My posters, my Iowa, 3 disc stereo is still there. My encyclopedia, like everything is still there. There's just some Tristan stuff in there. I took a nap, and it was one of those like disoriented naps. And I swear to you, when I woke up, I'm like, am I still in Southwest? like I was so disoriented. And, my room,
You thought you time traveled.
My room sort of looks
It's
very
still,
like high school.
If you're like meal, yes.
I had like a moment of like complete lapse of like time and space,
Like, do I have to do homework?
and dimension. Like I was like, where am I? What am I? I'm in my room at my parents' house. Like, am I still? Do I still go to Southwest Senior High? Like it was one of these like, I don't know if like that happens to you, that you kind
Not
of
to that degree.
but you lose relation of like time and space.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's some good naps.
That is a great nap.
Yeah. And it's so funny, like sometimes you
drugs.
you take a nap and then your face comes out, like you wake up all wrinkly from like the pillow or whatever, but that doesn't happen at night. Like when you sleep at night. Yeah.
We only get it through Hal during the day.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I remember when I was in college that I worked at ADP, and you remember, like I used to go to work at 8:30. I worked till 5:00, and then I took 5 classes. Like I took 5 classes in college, and worked full time. And sometimes, depending on the class, if it was a class that wasn't available in the evening and it was only available in the morning, like I would take a 2-hour lunch. I would drive from Kendall to FIU. Then I would go back, work then until 6 because I took a 2-hour lunch, and then go to school from 6:25 to 10.
And somehow you also worked gym in there too.
Yes. It was long
I think
days.
you created
But that's what
hours.
happens when you're 19, 20, 21, 22 years old.
24 hours turn into 36.
Yeah. So
I don't know how.
anyway, like I remember that sometimes like it would catch up to me, and I'm like, okay, I can't.
Today's the day.
So I would go to the bathroom. I would sit
At work.
I would go to the stall, and I would put toilet paper in the edges so nobody could see me. And I would take the world's greatest 10-minute power nap.
I used to do that at Carnival.
Yeah. And I remember that in ADP, I worked in the second floor. There was like one stall in particular that it was like the corner stall that was like, it wasn't the handicap stall. I did not take the handicap stall.
You were considerate.
But there was like a corner stall that it was a regular stall, but it
Right.
was a little bit bigger because it was a corner one.
Okay, so it just had this right.
Yes. And then I really liked it because since it was a corner one, like the wall wasn't completely... It didn't have a right angle, so when I would put like there was a logistical
There was a
side
comfort
to it.
element to it. Yes,
that
yes.
I would come out of there refreshed, like 10 minutes. And what? Like they weren't going to tell me anything. It's like I had, I was in the bathroom.
Prove that I wasn't doing what I was
no,
doing.
whatever. I had good bosses there. It was good. It was fine. But I will go take a 10-minute power nap, and it was like the greatest thing.
Well, there was a study that said if you take a 20-minute nap for every 4 hours you're awake, you can function.
Yeah.
Like, think about that. 20 minutes, 4 hours, how much more could you get done?
Listeners, do you take power naps? I mean, if you're a surgeon or something, don't.
Don't, please, no.
Teachers, like, how do teachers take power naps?
Planning periods.
Or they sit in the back of the room.
They're like, we're all going to play 7-Up today. And just put your heads down and just knock out.
I'll never forget that in high school, actually, in 10th grade. I remember in 10th grade, you take what? Personal fitness?
And health.
Personal health and fitness.
Yes.
Whatever that was, right?
Yeah.
How was that different from PE?
There was a book involved.
Oh, yes, there was.
Yes, that's...
Yes. And I remember one day, our teacher, I remember it was Miss Moultrie.
I have not thought about that name in
Miss Moultrie.
years.
I remember we got to the class, and the class part of it, right? You said about there was like days that you were in the field and days you were in the class.
Yeah.
The class portion of it was in a portable. And remember, portables were like really stuffy and cold.
They were oh so cold.
Yes. And I remember we got to the portable, but I thought she was, I don't know, she had a bad night, or maybe she was hungover, who knows. She's like, today we're going to practice like napping and sleeping. So, yes. So she was like, everybody put their head down, we're going to turn off the lights. And today we're just going to rest because it's good for your health. And I was like, Sure.
I'm not gonna argue.
I mean, I'm all for this.
That is wonderful.
Yeah, it was wonderful. So, listeners, where do you take naps? I bet naps are so
great.
good.
They are, and I think you appreciate naps as you get a little older.
Yeah, I mean, I've always appreciated naps. Hence, I was 21 taking naps in a stall.
No, but you appreciate it for the value of the
What
nap.
was great about my napping in the stall, and this was like every day.
Every day?
Yes, this was like at least 4 times a week. Maybe there was one day in the week I didn't do it. I'll never forget that because I would do that. Right. I would hear all types of fun things going on in the bathroom.
Oh, that's true.
I remember there was somebody one time who was using the toilet and I thought he had a heart attack. Because there was a lot of pushing and moaning and pushing and then grunts and then silence.
Oh, no.
And I was about to do like, are you okay? But then, I heard noise. There was proof of life.
Okay, good. All right. He's still kicking. It's very important in a bathroom.
Go to be 21 again.
Very important in a bathroom. You know what? Some people say that, but I would be 25 again, so we can at least rent a car and the insurance goes down.
I wouldn't be 20 nothing.
I'm saying I don't want 21. If I'm going to pick the 20s, give me 25. So at least I'm young enough, but I'm old enough to have cheaper insurance.
I'll go back to 30.
30s are good.
No, I would go back to 30.
I'm just saying 30s.
I would go back to 30 because 30 was a year for me that I would have taken so many different turns than the ones I ended up taking.
Okay. Okay, so you go back as a redo, not a relive.
No, definitely not a relive.
Okay.
No,
because people say like, oh my God, I wish I could go back and relive X. But for you, it's like, I wish I could go back and redo.
I mean, look, are there times in your life? Okay, would you go relive eras or times in your life?
Yeah, probably.
But if you knew that you had to go through then the bad stuff again, because I would no.
Probably. Well, but I mean, I'm that guy who like I'm that person who thinks like it's the bad stuff is what makes me who I am today and all that bullshit. So like
right, but if my 20 through 25 were like amazing, but if I had to go through 2025 again to then go through other later years, oh hell no.
Okay.
Like if I went back in time and I was gonna relive it all completely the same again, knowing what I don't know, I wouldn't know. Hell no.
Okay.
Like, oh my God, no. I mean, you were through a lot of it. You know that I wouldn't.
This is true.
What would we do, listeners?
This is true. I think our listeners would probably pick and choose. Like it would be a choose your own adventure type scenario at best. At best.
I mean, generally speaking, I think 30s are your best time. Early 30s.
Because you're young enough but old enough.
Yeah. You're old enough not to be, dumb fuck.
Right. Like you're making better money.
But you're still young.
Right.
You're still young.
Yeah.
Still young. Because
still young.
In your 20s, especially in your even early mid-20s, even if you're mature, because I think I was very mature in my 20s.
But you're still in your 20s.
Right.
Yeah, you're still in your 20s regardless. Yeah.
So, speaking of being in your 20s, there is actually something I wanted to bring up. Because,
where's this transition going?
This is something that went viral this week. So
our picture of Celia Cruz as Ahsoka, because that thing has like 3,000 likes already.
Yeah, but what is interesting about that post on Arpedo, let me tell you, Instagram, and listeners, if you haven't checked it out, check it out, is that has like a life of its own. Like
I posted that like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
It's been a minute. Yeah. And then it got obviously some initial likes from when it first got posted. Then it kind of died down. Then it kind of came back, then it kind of died down again. But I feel like in the last 2 days, I don't know, I asked you this morning, I go, was it reposted by a Kardashian or like by Beyonce or something? Because like in the last like day or so, it's been like boom, 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 boom. I'm like, but what's going on? Why do I have all these notifications on my phone? And it's like, oh, it's Celia Cruz.
Which is not a bad reason to be notified. Not a bad reason. But sorry, but you were saying.
Okay, so actually, what I wanted to bring up is, what we talk about many times on the show about just social media and the internet at large, and how everybody nowadays has something to say and everybody wants to tell other people how to live their lives. And even though they say they want freedom and it's all about freedom, they still feel compelled to tell other people how to live their lives. And the importance of people's words. We say that here all the time, that if you have a platform, you have you have people that listen to you, your words are very important, and your words can entice a lot of different reactions in people, and you don't know what those reactions are going to be. So you have to be very responsible with what you say. So about a week ago or some time ago, there was this girl. Maybe you saw it. Her name is Julia. And Julia, she on TikTok, I think she had like 7,000 followers on TikTok, so it wasn't anything crazy.
Okay.
Her TikTok is just mundane things.
It's just Julia being Julia.
Julia. It's not a political TikTok. She's not like a major influencer. It's just, her life. She did a video of her waking up, I think on a Saturday, and her realizing that she was 29. She wasn't in a relationship and she didn't have kids. And she was like, you know what? I'm going to stay in bed all day. I don't have anything to do. I don't have kids to worry about.
Right.
I don't have, a partner to worry about. I'm going to stay in bed and I'm going to do this like egg recipe, right? I'm going to learn how to do that today. Because you know what? Like society tells me that by the time I'm 30, I need to be married and with kids and a house and all that. And you know what? I don't. And I'm okay with that. And, I'm just going to enjoy my day.
Right.
That is what her TikTok was about.
Okay.
It wasn't about anything else. She didn't go on
nothing polarizing.
She didn't go on this rant like, oh, you shouldn't have kids and, why do you need to be married?
Or how she's a feminist.
No.
Okay.
It was just her waking up on a Saturday. I mean, like, you know what? I don't have... And that happens to me sometimes. Like when we don't have a pop-up now, on a weekend, I wake up and I'm like, what am I going to do with this whole day to myself? Like... and then, of course, I have 5,000 things to do. But for a minute there, I'm kind of like, what am I going to do?
But that's like the best minute and a half of your day, right?
I don't have a Bing Bang Boyo pop-up today. Like, the world is like my oyster. And then I'm like, oh, no, but I do have this. But anyway, so she posts this on her TikTok.
Okay.
And it gets reposted or commented by this guy named Matt Walsh, who is like, he's a total right wing. He calls himself theoretic fascist, total right winger. Very, very, very conservative, like polarizing conservative. And it gets reposted by him and I think other people. And then of course she starts getting death threats
because she wanted to make eggs.
She starts being told that she's a slut, that she has no life, that she's disgusting, that, she's anti-Christian, that she's anti-this. And it just went on and on and on. Mm-hmm. And this was just from a video that she posted saying, again, she didn't have an agenda. She wasn't saying anything, just how she just had time on that Saturday to do whatever she wanted. Right? And it turned into what it turned into. And then she had to do another video a few days later. She actually had to delete her TikTok.
Oh, wow.
And then after a few days, after it died down a little bit, she actually went back and was like, listen, what the fuck? Like, I just wanted to do this. I wasn't telling anybody how to live their lives. I wasn't telling people not to have kids or not to get married or not anything. Just saying what I was doing. And, it's okay if there's other people my age that maybe aren't married and don't have kids and don't have that. There's a lot of people that aren't. And it's okay. It's okay. Like, my time will come. Like,
right.
And it's I wanted to bring that up because it's just, I know we've talked about similar things like that on the podcast before, throughout 5-6 seasons, but it just doesn't cease to amaze me, shock me, and anger me how we were in a period of time where we're so polarized and self-righteous that we feel the need, well, some people feel the need to attack other people that just woke up with
nothing to do.
This is not a political opinion. This is not an ethical opinion. Right. Just somebody who doesn't have the same, because now you're not even talking about somebody who doesn't have the same, again, political opinion as you or religious belief.
Right.
You're just talking about somebody whose life is different than yours. Like, they have more time on their hands.
Right.
That's it. That now it's to such a point that anybody who's not like you is a loser, is disgusting, is a pervert, is a slut, is a whore, is a terrible human being, and you're going to tell them. Like, you're going to tell them. It's just a very, very sad state of affairs.
I just wonder...
Very sad, very...
I wonder how this even got on anybody's radar initially for the reshare, right? Like for the initial reshare of like, look at how horrible she is, right? Because I'm assuming what could her hashtags have even been? Day off.
Well, here's the thing:
Enjoying
the guy
life.
who reposted her,
I mean,
he's really out there in terms of right.
Fair enough.
He
but
goes out looking for these things,
Right.
so I'm sure he has a ton of resources and of people. Because what happens a lot of times, these stories like this one, it's just ordinary people doing ordinary things.
But that's what I mean.
They get it right, but then that is how that is very powerful because they're showing how people that are not like them, because now it's just the term "not like them" is much broader. Again, we're not down to religion or
Right.
sexual orientation or political leaning. We're talking now just somebody who's just not like,
Right.
doesn't have the same life as you do,
Right.
Isn't married with 2.5 kids and goes to church on Sundays, right? Somebody who's just different. Now it's so tribal and it's so like, we're going to show that you're wrong and that you're gross. And we're going to pick at the other side, whatever that other side is.
Right.
That people lose their humanity. And they lose any sense of humanity and compassion and understanding. And it's just to stick it to the other person.
For no reason in this.
Although we're not sure what
they're
that
sticking.
means.
Right. What is the
It's just very sad. It's very sad. It's very negative. Mira, related but different. I look at a lot of TikTok or Instagram Reels because I don't have TikTok, but most Instagram Reels are TikToks.
Yeah.
I look at a lot of food ones, recipes and whatever, and listeners who I know a lot of people that are on TikTok or use Reels just for that. So maybe you've noticed this. I can't tell you how many. Again, it's a recipe. It's a recipe.
Right.
The amount
it has no agenda
of hate that
no
there
agenda.
are in these videos.
for a recipe.
For a recipe. Oh, that's gross. Oh, why are you doing it that way? Oh, you're lazy. Oh, or then they'll make like racial comments. Or, America eating like it has free healthcare. Oh, you Americans, always ruin whatever. Oh, you're so lazy. Oh, why do you have to use a crock? It's like, it's a fucking recipe. It's a recipe. It's a recipe. Just keep scrolling. Like, you know what? Do you remember some years ago? And it was Australia that they had dumb ways.
Yes,
to die.
yes, I love that campaign.
Dumb way. And listeners, if you don't
was
know what I'm
promoting
talking
railroad
about,
safety.
just go to YouTube and Google "dumb ways to die."
Yeah. Dumb Ways to Die Australian commercial because I don't know what you're going to get if you don't put the rest of it.
What? Dumb Ways to Die Australia. No, but that song has become so popular and viral that Dumb Ways to Die Australian commercial.
Yeah.
You could put it's sort of cute.
I like it. I think it's
cute.
It's a great campaign.
It won like I don't know how many awards in advertising.
Yeah, it's for railway safety.
I think that we should come up with one of just like keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling.
Just keep scrolling, just keep scrolling.
For your mental health and everyone else's. Just keep scrolling, just keep scrolling. There's no more trolling if you just keep scrolling, just keep scrolling.
I love that. No need for trolling. Just keep scrolling.
Yes. Just keep
like it.
scrolling. Like
Your life, but
listen, I come across a lot of things that I do eye rolls at that I'm like, oh.
But
and you know what I do?
you keep going.
I just keep scrolling.
You keep going with your life.
Because I'm not trolling.
You're not trolling. You just keep scrolling.
Just keep scrolling, people.
Listeners, we're making this a t-shirt.
Don't be a troll. Stop the trolling. Just keep scrolling.
Yeah. Don't be a troll. Just keep
That is our
scroll.
PSA today on Pero Let Me
It
Tell
is.
You.
Thank you for coming to our TED Talk. No, but I've always, again, I know we say it on this show a lot where it's like, the best thing about the internet, everybody has a voice. The worst thing, everybody has a voice.
Yeah.
And it's just, I've said this before and I keep holding on to it like a little glimmer of hope, right? As awful as these people and the comment sections, when I say these people, I'm talking the comment sections of anything can become, I always hold on to the fact that it is a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the population of the world. You know what I mean? Like, I genuinely believe that a huge swath of the population does just kind of look at something, whatever, and they keep going on with their lives because they've got other things to do. I also hold firm to the belief that a lot of these trolls have multiple accounts, so it also just seems like it's more people than it is. You know what I mean? So because they need to get their voice heard. But again, but then it also just speaks to the fact that these are people who I strongly believe, for whatever reason, feel voiceless in their real life. And the only way that they feel like they can get it out is by treating people as they perceive they're being treated, which is sad. But and I know it sounds pithy, but it's like, hurt people. But I just feel like it's like if you're literally commenting such vitriol on a freaking recipe post, you probably don't have much going on in your life. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that because you and I have way too many things happening between the podcast and your kid and the pop-ups and the this and the that to sit there and just launch an attack on another human being for having a day off.
The other day, there was one that I saw of this girl who, it was one of these TikTok videos. Like, I bought this, vacant loft that had like no character and overhead lighting, fluorescent lighting, and I turned it into my dream. Like, and she showed how she turned this like empty, like very sterile loft. I don't know where it was, if it was New York or something, and she turned it into like, it was all like pink, but like it was like very
like Barbie pink.
No, it wasn't Barbie pink at all. It was very like French chateau kind of pink.
Like countryside.
Yes, like lots of pink stripes and all that. And it was very elaborate. Because that's also like a thing in design now, that there's like a trend now of like very elaborate, very heavy, busy like wallpaper and things like that. Yeah. I don't like that, but that's not the point of the video. The video was the point how she transformed that space,
right. Look what I did,
something else, and then obviously in like that fast motion camera, you see how she wallpapered and painted and then whatever. That was the point of the video, that she transformed a space.
Right. Look what I did.
Not that. Whether it's your personal style or not, you have to see the hate that woman got. And then people make things out of nothing. Like, I think I forget if we talked about it here or
if it's the one I'm thinking of, we didn't.
Which one?
Oh, fuck. What was it? There was something.
There was a few months ago. There was
Only in Dade.
No. The one that I'm talking about a few months ago, that this was like, wow, this is like really wanting to create something out of nothing. This family that they did want to like, if it's raining outside, we have the perfect night for the kids. And then it was showing how they have like on a blank wall, on a white wall, you could make that into like a screen.
Oh, yeah, movie screen.
And, and they did like popcorn and they did like little juices for the kids and blah, blah, blah. And laid out the pillows and the sofa. And this could be a night. And they were airing The Little Mermaid, the animated one. Right. The people on the comments, you're not airing the one with, the new one. With the Black Mermaid, you're a racist. And it's like, that one wasn't out yet. Like, what do you want them to do? Do you think that they had somebody in at Disney who was going to release The Little Mermaid
for their post?
Yes. Right. Or even if they would have, like, you don't know, maybe they didn't have Disney Plus. Like, not everybody can pay. Oye, Disney Plus ya está carísimo.
Está carísimo.
Maybe they didn't have Disney Plus. I mean, it could be something as simple as like, I don't have Disney Plus. Right? Because The Little Mermaid a few months ago, Haley Bailey one was not on DVD or streaming. Right. Well, other than if you had Disney Plus. Right? Yeah. So like, whereas the original Little Mermaid has been around for 30 years, you have that on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, whatever. Yeah. So maybe it was something as simple as that. But then again, people jump into conclusions. Because you're a racist, and the people defending him, and then the people. It's like, oh my god, like
this is why we can't have nice things.
It's awful. It's just awful. And then again, it makes you sort of not want to properly share something if you see something or comment on something, because then it's like you don't know how that comment is gonna, how they're gonna interpret that. Right. I mean, I would give you this example all the time. Years ago, this was maybe like 7-8 years ago, there's this blog called The Next Miami that I've always liked. That blog, it's simply about architecture in Miami. That's all that it's about. This building is being proposed here. Here are the plans. Right. This building just broke ground. Here are the plans. You have to see in the comment section, la fajazone, that the people live. Do you know what they used to call the building I used to live in, Marina Blue? What? That this was one of those things that like, I was like, wow, people are so full of shit. It's like tragic but hilarious. So, listeners, I lived downtown, in a high rise. It was a dream of mine, and I got to do that. You very much enjoyed my high rise.
I very much did.
Do you know what they used to call the people who did not like Marina Blue?
Who did not like it?
Yes, that they were just against everything. They said that it was equivalent to Soviet, like, communist housing.
Have they been to?
I was like, if Marina Blue with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the bay was communist, Soviet communist housing, sign me up.
Yeah. I don't think those words mean what you think they mean, sir or madam.
Sign me up. Because, it's like the only building in Miami that has water views in every single unit. Sign me up.
I've never been to Soviet bloc housing, but I'm going to venture and say it does not have a fitness center and 2 pools.
No,
right?
And 3 jacuzzis.
And 3 jacuzzis. Yeah. I'm going to assume.
The reason they said that is because if you remember that building, Marina Blue, where I lived at, because all the apartments are face to the bay. Right. The back of the building is the back of all the apartments. So remember that the back of the building was like gray. It wasn't windows. Right. Because of the way the building was designed purposely. So every unit has
a view.
So that's why they called it communist housing. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, if that's where you're gonna go by again.
But that's the perfect example of it's all in how you choose to look at things.
Literally.
You literally just cross the street and it's a beautiful beautiful building.
Yeah.
And then you go to the other
communist
side.
It's common. Okay. And then the people are like, totally,
And they've never set foot inside that building.
Of course not.
Of course not.
Of course not. So I'm like, okay, well, what is it? Opinions are like assholes.
Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, and some of them
So
smell.
people, be nice. Remember,
be kind.
Don't be a troll. Just scroll.
Yeah, we're gonna make that a T-shirt. I like that. So I just wanted to bring something up that happened. Well, it didn't happen to me, but it happened around me at the Dollar Tree the other day. Mm-hmm. So I was at Dollar Tree. I forgot what I was even buying.
La casa del peso, as my aunt still calls it, and I'm like, no, del peso y 25.
Peso 25. I forgot what I was buying. It's not important. So I went to get the thing that I was going to get, whatever. So I'm waiting in line, and they open another register, so I go. When I get to the register, there's the girl who was standing at the register, but it wasn't open, and then another girl came to be the cashier at the register. I don't understand what that was about. Then some other girl comes, like, from the exit towards them, and you can tell that she works there. She wasn't on the clock, but you could tell she works there because they're like all chatting and whatever. So she comes in holding this little like cosita de pinta uña. And she's like, ay, mira el color. Ay, pero qué lindo ese color. Niña, lo compré aquí y todo. Aquí, sí. Ay, pero es de marca. Es de Maybel Ling.
Say that again?
De Maybel Ling.
Please don't tell me it was Maybelline.
It was Maybelline. But I loved how they said it. The minute that I heard that, I was like, put this in the cup. Put it in the brains for the podcast. They said it as if though the name was Maybelline. Like if it was a first and a last name.
Actually, no, that's not the way I saw it. I saw Maybel Ling.
Oh, no.
She's Chinese. Oh. She's Asian. Maybel Ling.
That's even better. No, for me, I heard it as like Maybel Ling.
No, I heard it Maybel Ling.
I love that they made her Asian.
Ay, sí, es una
asiática.
Sí, muy famosa asiática. Maybel Ling.
I want us to now, moving forward, only refer to Maybelline as Maybel Ling. Maybel Ling. Ooh, did you get that? Was that Maybel Ling? Maybel Ling?
Maybel Ling.
Yes. Moving forward, I was like,
that's amazing.
That was wonderful.
Stuff like that is like delicious.
I was like, I can't wait for us to record so I can say this.
Yeah, those little things are the things I live for.
Yeah.
I mean, I've told you the story
away.
so many times. Like some years ago, I was at the Walgreens by my office in Hialeah on 16th Avenue, and they had just changed the system, I guess, in the cash register. And Mirta, the cash register at Walgreens, was not having it. And I remember she was like, "Ay, este sistema no puedo, por favor, Dios, mándame la muerte." And I was like, ay, Mirta. You need to go to more training.
O por lo menos píntate las uñas con Maybel Ling.
Yeah.
Maybel Ling.
Maybel Ling, yeah. It's hard. I get it. You know what I often think, like, especially the reason I say this is because Walgreens sells this, but supermarkets as well. I wonder what, like, Cubans or, like, really, like, hardcore Latin people, what they think of beef jerky.
I have never stopped to think about this.
Yeah.
Esa carne tiesa salada. Eso
no tiene gusto nada.
Eso me como un tasajo.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's similar to tasajo.
It is. I've never had tasajo.
Oh, tasajo's good.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's crispy.
I've never had tasajo.
But, I mean, I wouldn't say beef jerky is like tasajo.
But equivalent.
If I were to,
yeah.
like, yeah. What do you think of beef jerky?
I kind of want this to be a thing. We should grab our microphone and go to Hialeah with armed with beef jerky.
Señora, ¿qué es esto?
And say, ¿qué es esto? Pruébalo. Pruébalo. Dime a qué sabe.
Pruébalo. That's like, oh my God, may she rest in peace. My grandmother's sister, when she would come from Cuba here, she loved to her, this was like the most amazing thing, pancakes.
They didn't have well, it's a stupid question.
Did you just ask if they didn't have pancakes?
You know what?
In Cuba?
Never mind.
Yes,
well,
they had it on their local Denny's.
Okay,
they remember the days that Eggo used to be in their supermarkets.
Wait. In my defense, because it was your grandmother's sister, I'm assuming she was old enough to remember when there were things in Cuba. So that's why I thought maybe she had pancakes.
Have you ever heard anybody from Cuba pre-revolution be like, ay, sí, porque te acuerdas de los panqueigos? El Lego Maego. And then, I make really good pancakes. I make a hell of a pancake. And I would make them, and she would call them torticas. Ay, Darien, I mean,
esa tortica,
esa tortica que tú haces.
Yeah.
And I'm like, a pancake?
Yeah. La tortica, yeah.
My dad loves pancakes, but he loves them.
What's not to love?
Yeah. And when I make pancakes for my dad, like, I make them from scratch.
Oh, really?
I don't use a box. I use a box maybe when I make them for myself or, like, other people. But when it's for my dad, I make them from scratch.
Yeah, no, I only make it from the box. I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
I can't be bothered.
Yeah, you probably use a complete one. The one that you just add water.
Oh, God, no. I put milk in it and eggs.
Okay, so you use the real one.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I have a little bit more faith in you.
Yeah. There's instant and then there's I'm not even trying.
No, there's one that comes in a bottle that you just have to add water and shake.
Yeah. No, I'm not about that. No, not about
You're
that
not
life.
about that life.
No, not about that water bottle shake life. No.
And my grandmother, she used to love the hot cakes from McDonald's, but they are good.
I prefer, like, I'm going to McDonald's for breakfast. I'll just Egg McMuffin. Like, I'm an Egg McMuffin purist for
You know what I've
breakfast.
never ordered? A big breakfast.
I have, but it's so rare. It's like I'm not going to McDonald's for a breakfast. For that, I'll go to Denny's. Like that type of for like a breakfast, you know?
What?
Yeah, because a big breakfast is like
McDonald's breakfast doesn't like. Is you're passé on it?
No, let me rephrase. What I mean is in terms of the big breakfast. Like if I'm gonna go and sit and have like eggs and a pancake and everything, I'm gonna go to Denny's.
Sometimes you don't have an hour to spend on breakfast. Right. Sometimes you just want to go have a McDonald's breakfast.
Right, but for me, a McDonald's breakfast is an Egg McMuffin. Like to me, that's the quintessential, like with the hash brown and
no,
and,
I'm not disagreeing with you, but it's like.
That's what I meant.
McDonald's breakfast.
That's what I meant when I said the big breakfast is what I was. I
love McDonald's breakfast, and I like it all. All of it. Like it's all good
except for the big breakfast that you've never had.
Well, because I've never ordered a big breakfast because I order everything else. Never mind. I just thought about something. I just thought about the times that my mom. Never mind.
Oh wait, no. Now you've got to finish.
No, because like I think about the times that like several times that I don't know why I thought my mom can handle my McDonald's breakfast order, and like I don't know, she came back with a McFlurry, but then then again, you're talking about the same person that can't get me the right cake
after some 40 some odd years.
Because the thing with them. And this has a little bit to do with the cake. Listeners, if you've been on board for a few years.
Coming up.
My birthday's coming up. If you've been on board for a few years, my parents mishaps getting my birthday cake. I don't know what it is because like I write it down for them. I'm like, this is what I want.
And you have legible handwriting.
I have very good handwriting. As they always tell me.
I was even looking at it right now.
They always tell me you have girl handwriting.
Very legible handwriting.
Yeah, because it's like
Actually, your handwriting should be a font.
No. And my handwriting.
That's chicken scratchy.
My
for you.
handwriting took a hit after I went to law school because prior to that, like my handwriting, like I could have done a show, like a calligrapher.
Your handwriting was like font.
Yes.
It could have been a font.
It was the Darien font. Darien italic.
See, I would have called it DJB.
DJB italic.
Yes.
Right. Bold.
But well, of
Underline.
Course. Bold like Taylor.
But yeah, my parents love Denny's too. Nos encanta el Denny.
I know. There's nothing like a Windsor, Miami after a long night out.
Yeah, they love Denny's. Vamos a ir al Denny a comer. La ensalada de pollito. Yeah, después vamos al Oliver Garden. Why do they all say Oliver Garden?
See, I don't know that one.
Oliver. They all say Oliver. El Oliver Garden.
That's I've never heard that.
What?
The Oliver Garden thing.
Oh no, it's a thing. El Oliver Garden. I'm like, is there something phonetically in Spanish when you speak English as a second language that you just add R's to everything?
I'm literally sitting here trying to think.
Hi, we're going to the Oliver Garden.
The Oliver Garden.
Oliver's Garden.
And you get there and it's just a picture of Cousin Oliver from the Brady Bunch.
Oh my gosh. When we first started going to Olive Garden, so this is a little story, if you're from Miami.
Tidbit.
If you're from Miami, it's a little bit more relevant. So the Olive Garden opened up here in 1991. Like, I know this.
Oh, I have no doubt.
It's the Olive Garden in Flagler. Maybe in North Miami there was other Olive Gardens, maybe in Broward, but in terms of like Miami, it was the one in Flagler, which is still there. I mean, I remember my mom would wear her good blouse when we would go to the Olive Garden.
Oh no, that was like a night out. Yeah, you got dressed for it. Yeah,
no. We used to. So during those years, my brother and my sister-in-law were dating, and when they would go to the Olive Garden, they would always bring me back the leftovers. And my grandmother, being the proud woman that she was, she's like, yo no tomo sobras de nadie. Tú sabes, traerte a ti sobras. And I'm like, ay, mima, I'm 12. Like,
what disposable income do I have?
I'm like, give me the leftover tour of Italy. Like,
and Olive Garden's food, especially the pasta, does taste better the next day.
Absolutely.
Even cold.
Oh, even cold. It's amazing.
Even cold.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
That's
but,
right,
oh,
kids.
no.
Olive Garden.
No. See, and I remember that, like, it was such a big deal. It's like, no estoy ordenando la pasta con mariscos. Mind you, it's like the shrimp Alfredo, fettuccine Alfredo. That has like shrimp and, scallops.
Listen, that was a thing back then.
La pasta con mariscos.
Mariscos.
Sí, nos vamos a tomar un trago. I'm like, it's a slushy.
It's a sangria.
Yeah, it's a sangria. That has fruit cocktail and, that came in a bottle.
Eso tiene más azúcar que nada.
Yeah, but the Olive Garden was like a big deal.
It was a big deal.
Like in the early 90s.
We didn't talk about last week, actually.
What?
And I'm surprised that you, of all people, didn't bring it up.
What?
The passing of Bob Barker.
Bob Barker.
Now that we're talking about, our childhood.
That meme that came around of him, that he was 99, he didn't go over.
He didn't go over, yeah.
That was, long
I thought he had passed away a
well-lived.
while back.
You had Mandela syndrome, Mandela effect.
Yeah.
I actually posted something on my personal Instagram that my grandmother actually watched The Price is Right. Oh, talked about my grandmother a lot today. She actually watched The Price is Right till like I think the day before she died. Like, I mean,
it was appointment viewing.
She watched it every single day, and I remember she would tell me in like the later years, over Drew Carey.
Yes.
She's like, "Viste como él bajó de peso." No parece la misma persona.
Actually, it's true. Drew Carey looks younger now that he's older than when he was younger.
Yeah, but anyway, so like many people, I feel that The Price is Right is one of those like shared experiences we always talk about. Everybody has like their memories
and the wheel
of The Price is Right, and whether you were a kid or like what they would always say, you would call in sick to work or miss school and you would watch The Price is Right. I mean, I always watched The Price is Right. I mean, I was very consistent on it. I mean, obviously, I did into my adult years, but if I was home, I always kept it on. But for me, like, my Price is Right memories were, I remember, I didn't speak English until I started preschool or like kindergarten. And I remember when my brother and my cousin, who are older than me, spoke English and I didn't speak English because I stayed home with my grandmother. I didn't really... my grandmother took care of me.
Claro.
So I didn't learn English till I got to school. And I remember watching The Price is Right with her. And I didn't know English. So I learned some English words from it. That's why I would call the showcase showdown a choki choki. I was like, Mima, mira, choki choki.
Oh,
but it's such fond memories. Like, that was a show that really, I think it doesn't matter what generation you're in,
very intergenerational.
Where you are in your life, what nationality, race, ethnicity you are. People love The Price is Right.
Yeah,
they did, and it speaks over the fact that that show's been on for over 50 years.
Yeah,
it changed because when Bob Barker left, I mean, Bob Barker was the face of that show. And to have somebody retire and have somebody take over and it still be successful.
That's not an easy task.
Yeah. And I feel that show, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel the demographic has gotten younger because now, like, fraternities and sororities go on The Price is Right.
But that's always been the case. Don't you remember when we were kids watching it, like, everybody would go, the thing was to go with your college sweater.
Yeah.
And then they would pick you and you'd be like, I go to USC, whatever, fighting bumblebees, whatever they're called.
Right.
And so that was always the case. And I think that's one of the main reasons why it's been able to be so cross-generational, right? Because you obviously you can't have kids on there, but you can have college students. So that's the youngest. And then, it's still young enough for the younger people to relate to. And then you've got the older people who go and, go crazy walking down running down the aisle. And it's just, it's such a good feeling show that even as it's modernized, it hasn't really changed.
No, the essence is still there.
Like, there's maybe a little more digital this. Or,
the set is a little different.
The lighting is different.
They have male models now.
Right.
Not Barker's Beauties.
No.
The one I remember the most was Holly and Diane.
Diane is the one I remember the most.
Diane is a blonde one and Holly was a redhead.
I don't remember Holly, but I remember Diane. I think Diane might still be there somewhere.
And I remember as a kid, it'll be like, your trip to Aspen. I'm like, apparently a lot of people go to Aspen. Like,
I think it's because of...
It was always Aspen. It was never like, we're sending you to Phoenix. Or like...
Well, esa fue la época de Dynasty, which took place in Colorado.
I guess. It was always like, Aspen, and I'm like, okay. And this new range.
I remember lots
of...
I'm like,
Dinettes.
Dinette. Lots of dinettes.
Dinette sets.
Yeah.
A new range, a new microwave. And I remember they call un fogón a range.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like, I still don't call it a range.
It's a stove.
It's a stove.
Just deal with it. It's a fucking stove. Range.
Or they gave a lot of Winnebagos.
They don't give those away anymore.
No.
I feel like people don't. We're much more energy conscious.
What
now.
were your favorite shows? Okay, obviously the favorite game is Plinko.
Plinko,
obviously.
I used to like the Yodeler.
And always that gives you anxiety.
Yes,
it's like he's gonna fall off the cliff.
And I will tell you that you changed my entire outlook on Price is Right. Mm-hmm. I think while we were doing this show.
Yeah.
When you mentioned that because I remember always being like, pero que caro son las cosas.
Yeah, it's California prices.
It's California pricing.
Yeah. Like, I remember as a kid, because I used to do the groceries with my mom as a kid.
Yes, exactly.
That's something that my mom and I religiously did from when I was like, I can't even remember to like, I was a
They would
teenager.
be like, a Pop-Tart, $17.
Right.
I'm like, what the fuck, Pop-Tart?
Yes.
Like, who's paying $17?
And I'll be like, that's not the price my mom is paying at Extra.
Right. Yes. I'd be like, pero see, that's like $1.25. What do you mean $17? What's wrong with you people?
That's not what my mom's paying.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that you said extra.
It was extra. Was it anything else in the 80s?
No.
Yeah. I was like, it's carísimo. I'm like, oh, it's California. It's,
I didn't realize. It didn't even connect in my head until you said it.
So if you're not from California, you have a disadvantage. You're prejudiced on the price.
That's true, because I would be like, I don't know, $3.
I don't know. The coffee maker? I don't know. Like,
they're like $6 million.
I don't know. We buy it with our S&W green stamps, like, for all I know. Like, listeners, if you're of a certain age and you remember the it was S&W, right?
Yeah.
Green stamps. You know what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
my grandmother used to have a bunch of them in
My
her
mom
kitchen
bought
drawer.
a slicer.
Slicer?
A ham slicer. Yeah, because when my brother and I were like kids, hardy kids, she figured out que era más barato comprar una bola de jamón and slice it at home than to slice it ourselves. She bought a slicer. I'm thinking of the smell the slicer had. It was white. It was Oster brand. And the sound it would make.
I love that your mother thought it'd be cheaper to just have a deli counter at home.
Yeah. Like, yeah. You know, again, it was the training years. The first 10 years.
Okay, but that's a hell of a curve.
To have a slicer?
Yes. That's a jump. That's not a training.
No, because it's the training year, so you have to be really frugal.
Right, but I don't think now I would have thought. Like, I wouldn't even know where to buy a slicer.
Mira, my mom was so frugal. I mean, look, this is, I think that you're frugal whether it's, regardless if it's the training years or not. But especially, you know, like the first 10 years that they were here, that, you know, they didn't make a lot of money. Yeah. I used to, as I said, I used to go grocery shopping with my mom every single Friday religiously. That was like my thing. That was my Friday. I did that from, I don't know, I couldn't even remember the age I started to like, I think I was in high school. I think I was like 14, 15 when I was like, okay, that's it. Like, enough.
I can no longer go
I'm
on
staying home to watch TGIF.
Yes.
Like,
yes. You
go do the groceries, Mom. Because then at the end, when we would finish doing the groceries, she would take me to McDonald's.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right there.
And I remember we used to go to El Sedano on Coral Way 97th. We used to go to Extra.
Wait, why did you go to the one on Coral Way and not the one on Bird Road?
I'm sorry, on 8th and 97th. No, wait, that's Coral Way. No, Coral Way 97th.
Right, but why wouldn't you go?
El Sedano on Bird Road in 87th?
Yeah, no, not 87th. The one on Bird and 99th.
I think that was in Sedano at that time. It was Pantry Pride.
No, it stopped being Pantry Pride like mid 80s because
we didn't go to that.
That was where we went.
My mom must have not liked it.
Okay, we went. We used to go to Pantry Pride.
Yeah, and then we used to go to Extra. We didn't go to Publix that much when I was a kid. Right, Publix was very expensive.
Era caro.
Sí.
Era caro.
Era carito. And then, you know, where else did we go? But it was Sedano's and Extra predominantly. Food Value.
Where was Food Value?
Oye, te lo digo yo que Food Value Supermarket te trata mejor. There was 2 Food Values. There was one on Coral Way and 87th next to Kmart.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And there was one on Flagler and 107th. Food Value. Food Value.
Who was the spokesperson of that?
Matapicane. The one, the short. Wow,
she was like Chariting Light.
Yes. We interviewed her on the podcast.
That's right.
The Night of Amigos for Kids. Like, we're going old school now, people. Like, really, really
join
old
us.
School. Really, really old school. This is like the type of shit that, like, when we sit down to talk to
History Mammy.
Yes, well, I'm really gonna enjoy.
I can't remember his name right now, but
I'm really, really good with this stuff. So when I find other people that like,
it might have to be a mini series.
In our
I'm not even joking.
In our 10-part episode,
I might have to turn this into like some type of sub-series.
The history of Miami. No, but you know, that's the type of stuff. Like, I mean, I feel that everybody can relate to that. That's the type of stuff that you do as a kid that, you know, it's annoying and whatever, but then you think back about it, and then you have a podcast and talk about it.
Exactly. It's good memories.
Yeah,
it's good memories at the end.
But
of the day.
Yeah, The Price is Right. Choky.
Choky.
Yeah, those were good times.
Simpler times.
Yeah. They never gave like really good cars.
No, although we now can say we know someone who won a car on Price is Right.
Yes, we do. We do.
He won the Showcase Showdown.
Yes.
Choky. He won a Choky.
I have to tell you that I dream about going to The Price is Right and getting called, come on down. I'll be like, oh my God, it's my moment.
I would feel so much pressure with the pricing thing that I know I'd get it wrong.
Yes, but honestly, in my mind, I've created like this Price is Right fantasy. In my mind, I go on stage by bidding $1.
Right, but if somebody bids $1 before you, then you can't bid the $1.
Is that how that works?
Well, yeah, you can't have the same number as somebody else.
Oh, then I'll be 99 cents.
Then you would have to both go up to do it together.
Right. But yeah, it's like I won because of the dollar. And then,
I'd probably do something stupid. Like, I don't know, I'd be like $3,000 and it would be like, a bottle of oil.
You know that, speaking of game shows, the other day, listeners, do you guys like Jeopardy? Because I love Jeopardy.
I know you do.
And I'm pretty good at Jeopardy. I can't say that I'm a Jeopardy master, but I'm pretty good at Jeopardy. Me defiendo. The other day, I actually was cooking our karaage.
Okay.
So I was listening to Jeopardy, but I wasn't looking at Jeopardy.
Got it.
I had it on while I was, in the kitchen. So like all these answers were coming on. I'm like, I don't know shit today. What the hell's wrong with me? And I'm like, oh, it's Jeopardy Masters.
Oh, good
I was
Lord,
like,
no.
With Ken Jennings and this other guy. I'm like, oh,
no.
okay.
That's a whole
That's why
other...
I know that of a whole board, I only knew like 4 of them.
Yeah, that's a whole other level of, yeah.
I've told you that, like, I have another Jeopardy fantasy, right? Like, my Jeopardy fantasy is I get there, and when they start putting the categories, it's like, 90s pop culture, ding, ocean liners, ding, the New York Yankees. And in each one of them, I'm getting more and more excited, like, ding, like, geography, ding.
Mariah Carey.
Just like, ding. And then, the final Jeopardy question is, the Olympics.
Oh, you're so winning that episode. I mean, you're probably going to lose the next one, but you're going to win that round. That round is yours. Because I say that just because there's nowhere to go but down after that.
Yeah,
like
I actually remember there was a final Jeopardy question a few years ago that the category was the Olympics.
Okay.
And the answer was, and all 3 of them got it wrong. The answer was the only city that was elected to host an Olympics, but even after they were elected, they canceled it, and that was Denver for the 1984 Winter Olympics. They got selected by the IOC to,
and they said no, thank you.
After they pulled out.
Oh, wow.
So then I went to Sarajevo. Yeah,
well, that's a difference.
Yeah, like that's that. Well, this was Sarajevo before Civil War.
Oh.
Yes, they gave it to Sarajevo in the middle of the Civil War because that makes sense. You know that sometimes, did you change your work clothes when you got home?
I did not.
Today?
I did not.
So,
that's the problem. That's the problem.
So...
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Back to school time, se acabó el verano. And even your mental health challenges seem to be back from summer vacation. Did you pack lunch for the kids? Are you doing everything to help them thrive in school? How do you find balance between work and home life? Not to mention back to school means que ya the holidays are around the corner. Stop. Take a deep breath and let BetterHelp get you back on the path to being mentally healthy. BetterHelp offers phone, video, text, or live therapist chat sessions. You pick the option that best fits your schedule. After all, it's your mental health, right? Plus, it costs a fraction of in-person therapy sessions, which is a good thing porque those back-to-school supplies are not cheap. And as a special offer for Pero Let Me Tell You listeners, you can get 10% off your first month of professional therapy at betterhelp.com/pero. BetterHelp is already more affordable than in-person therapy, and now you can save on your first month. Look, more than back to school time, it's back to you time, and BetterHelp can help you take the first step on that path. That's betterhelp.com/pero. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode.
Anyway, soda time?
It is soda time.
I'm actually, you know what? I was going to do another soda today, but I'm actually going to give my soda to Bob Barker.
Oh, okay.
A week late.
Okay.
But to Bob Barker, because you know what? He brought a lot of joy to a lot of people with his show. And as we said, so many generations of people enjoyed it. They had a good time. He was such an advocate for animals. That was like his real
spay and neuter,
passion. I mean, I was hearing about that before I even knew what it meant.
I didn't know what that meant, but I'm like,
I mean, I didn't
make sure you do it.
I didn't speak English, let alone know what spayed and neutered meant. But
but here you were.
I was like, pero por qué dice la misma cosa todos los días? And his long microphones.
I love a skinny mic.
Yeah, you know what? That is iconic.
Yeah.
That's iconic.
That's iconic. Yeah.
The skinny
That's
Mike.
The skinny Mike. Yeah.
So, life well lived. And, he, again, brought a lot of happiness to a lot of people. So, good.
Yeah.
We need more of that positivity.
We
need more people with platforms and more people with big audiences that, do good, bring happiness to people, make people feel together and welcomed. And
yeah, not a bad one. Not a bad one. Bob Barker. Excuse me. So my last soda is going to Sling TV. Now,
Sling TV, that's been around for a while.
Sling TV, but there's a reason. So Sling TV recently started a free version, which is a lot of these play a lot like a Roku and whatever, where it's just like they have several different channels, and it's just free and it's just a shit ton of programming, right? So I'm giving it to Sling TV not because they have an entire channel dedicated only to showing the sitcom Alf. Not because they have an entire channel dedicated only to showing the 80s action cop drama Hunter. Not because they have an entire channel called Las Tres Marias dedicated to only running Marimar, Maria del Barrio, and Maria Mercedes.
But was this made for us?
No. I'm giving it, you said that at the perfect time. I'm giving it to Sling TV because they have a channel entirely dedicated to only running 24 hours, 7 days a week, every episode, and there's not that many of them, of Que Pasa USA.
Really?
Yes, sir.
All of them? Even the ones PBS won't share?
All of them. They all run.
On Sling TV. Que Pasa USA
has its own channel. It's
just an app?
It has. You can download it on your smart TV.
Okay, we need to do that now when we get off.
It has its own channel. So it's through VIX. So they partner with other streamers to pull programming. And so, obviously I have a little bit of a conflicted feelings about it because, as we know, the history of Capacity USA in terms of payment is very...
they were the original...
Yeah, the original strike, right?
Yes.
Like SAG on strike.
Not getting residuals.
Yeah, so it feels a little weird also to watch it. This is the first time I've ever seen it with...
Especially since we've had people of Capacity USA on the show.
Well, this is the first time I've ever seen it with commercial breaks.
Oh, that must be interesting.
It doesn't start with the WPBT. It doesn't. It's weird. So it's like, okay, well, now somebody is profiting off of this show.
But your mom is still in the credits.
My mom is still in the credits, yes. Somebody's now profiting off of this airing, but it is 24 hours, 7 days a week. All they show on the Que Pasa USA channel is Que Pasa USA. Now, I'd be happy if they also threw in a little Corte Tropical, just because, let's mix it up. But yes. So that is why I'm giving it to Sling TV.
So in 20 hours, they put the whole show because there's 39 episodes?
Maybe.
There's 39, 40 episodes.
There's no more than 40. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're half an hour each. So
and they're an actual half an hour.
Yeah.
Because of the commercials. Right.
Wow, that's all. We're gonna totally watch that.
Yep.
Because on PBS, on PBS it's on all the time.
But there's like a handful.
But there's some that they won't air because they sell the DVD sets, so they want to keep something for the DVD.
True.
So I get it from a marketing perspective. But then here they're airing all of them.
I have to assume it's all of them. I haven't watched the entire I haven't watched an entire weekend's worth of Que Pasa USA, but I have to assume that if they're filling an entire channel.
Like, for example, you know which one they never air on PBS? They never air the one of the Avon lady. Lo plato están roto.
Okay. Well, again, I don't know. Honestly, the only one, the ones that I've seen so far are the Iggy years, which are whatever. But they did have a Española. Castles. Yes, that one. And there, which was the other one? Oh, and Mi Abuelo Driving School.
Mi Abuelo Sister, Mi Abuelo Brother, Mi Abuelo Cocínenlo con perejil.
Exactly.
Mi Abuelo Driving School is great.
It is.
It's great.
It's great.
You know my two favorites are, right?
The Garage Sale?
The Garage Sale.
And I don't know.
The reality TV.
Oh, that's the pilot. No. The pilot's the Quinceañera.
Yeah. With Mr. Sanchez.
That's right.
I have a contract. They were the real first reality TV.
Forget the Osbournes.
The Kardashians.
Yeah.
Like,
the Peñas.
I work in the streets.
To this day, Jose and I say that to each other all the time. Whenever we're going to go out, I'm like, I'm going to go work in the streets. Like if we're going to go do mandados or whatever.
Yeah. Barman. lamparita. I mean, we could be an hour
Yeah.
with all this stuff. I mean, obviously, if you love Que Pasa USA, this is a good last
Yes,
soda.
so, yes.
But 50 years in, and that show still,
It's still trucking along.
it's incredible. Like, it really is. I mean, I know Que Pasa USA has been covered over and over and over again. There's just so many. There's been like think tanks devoted to Que Pasa USA, but it's just incredible how it's still so relevant and real and just amazing for so many of us. And 50 years in, and I still laugh at that show like it's the first time I'm watching it.
Yeah. Because it's that good.
Señora, no me ofenda que voy a llamar a mi tío en la botánica para dar un trabajito.
Hands over the lamp.
I love how in the garage sale, Violeta's like, because these will go beautiful in a quinceañera's room. That heart with
the styrofoam hearts.
matching hearts, Marvin.
Yes.
You know, in the episode with the computer friend.
With Charles?
Yeah. Do you think that they were doing data match, which we used to do in middle school?
That is exactly what I thought it was.
So, listeners, in middle school, this was in the 90s, there was this thing called data match that you would fill out a survey, and then everybody in school would fill out a survey, and then you would find out who you were most compatible with.
Right.
I mean, this was in the early 90s, so... But Que Pasa USA is from the 70s, so I wonder if they did like like
a pioneering
data match beta. Anyway, everybody, we hope you all have a great weekend, and we hope you listen, laughed, and learned.
Yes. And if you want to come out to Prison Pals Doral on Friday, September 9th, we'll be there starting at 5.
Yes, with Bimbo Pollo. So come and say hello to us and have our delicious chicken wing, chicken sandwich, and chicken tenders. Yep. So as always, as I said, we hope you listen, laughed, and learn, and grab yourself a pastelito, a croqueta, and your cafecito, and have a great weekend, everybody. See you next time.
Cuídense, mi gente. Bye. Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lomlaplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.